Welcome back. The ANC has decided to retain Professor Job Mokgoro as Premier of North West Province. The party's National Executive Committee held a special meeting today. It's also decided to appoint Thandi Modise as the Speaker of the National Assembly, while Lechesa Tsenoli will again be nominated to be the Deputy Speaker. Nomvula Mokonyane will be Parliament's Chair of Chairs. Amos Masondo will now be the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. The National Spokesperson of the African National Congress is Pule Mabe. He joins us now. Pule, good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed for your time today. Why has the NEC decided that Professor Mokgoro should be nominated for the position of North West Premier?
Evening, Stephen, and evening to your viewers. When we spoke to the SABC a week ago, following our special NEC that was held last week, we did indicate the sort of interventions that we're making in the province of the Northwest. One of the points that we emphasized was the need for stability in that province. And we also went on to outline a number of interventions that the African National Congress has been making. It was felt by the special NEC today that, having considered all of the facts, it is necessary to allow Professor Job Mokgoro to continue with the work that he had begun with a year ago, when we took the decision to stabilize that province, with an understanding that once we are done with all of the political processes that we're engaged in, including the convening of a provincial conference in the province of the Northwest, will then allow the political structure that shall have been formed at that time to be able to determine the direction that the province is supposed to be taking. You will appreciate, Stephen, that going into these general elections, the stability of government was a critical thing across provinces, including in the Northwest.
Are you suggesting then that Professor Mokgoro might not actually stay the full 5-year term? It might only be a few months or perhaps a year or so until the political situation within the ANC in Northwest becomes a bit clearer?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying it that way. All I'm saying is that what you needed to do was to make sure that the intervention that you made when you brought, because remember, Professor Mokgoro is a seasoned administrator. You believe so through him you also want to consolidate proper governance structures within state institutions in that province. So the determination of what then becomes of a way forward shall be determined at a point when you also have dealt with the stability of the province. You have got a provincial executive committee and all of that. For instance, what you now have is that you do have a PTT. We have brought together all of the warring parties in the province, ensured that comrades worked together towards allowing the ANC to garner the majority it garnered at the polls. So to continue with that work, it is important that we carry forward with the trajectory of stability.
It seemed that last week, literally a week ago, the NEC could not make a decision on who would be Premier of the Northwest. What changed that then allowed the same body of people, the NEC, to make a decision today?
If you read the statement we had issued last week, we did indicate that the only reason why we had not pronounced on the Northwest was that we were dealing with a number of internal issues. Amongst those internal issues that were being attended to was to make sure that whatever decision we take doesn't disrupt the current state of affairs in the province, but two, we satisfy ourselves as the leadership that the Northwest province is moving on the right path towards stability, but to make sure that at the time when you make a decision, it will be embraced by all of your structures. More so because in the absence of a provincial executive committee, whether you call it caretaker structure in the form of a PTT, you will not have been able to deposit. Remember that when you have got a structure of the PEC will be able to deposit the 3 names. What you have done in this instance was that when you consolidated the PTT, you were consolidating a PTT whose primary mandate would be electioneering. They were now done with that work. They have since shared their report with the leadership structure of the African National Congress. Having considered all of the factors, the leadership has now come to a determination that it would be prudent to allow Professor Mokgoro to continue with the work that he has already begun with, so that at the right time, when you have got a political structure and their conditions are stable and better, you will be able to then make a determination on the direction that you want the province to be taking. But from where we are quite happy with the pace that comrades have been moving on there.
All right, you've also decided that Thandi Modise will be the National Assembly Speaker. Obviously, she has to be elected first by the National Assembly, but you'll nominate her, you have the seats to do it. What are you expecting her to bring to that role?
Well, you'll appreciate that Mam Thandi Modise is a seasoned cadre herself, has occupied numerous other positions. She's a former Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress. She serves in both the ANC, NEC and NWC structure. She was previously the chair of the NCOP. She was previously also Premier of the Northwest Province. So she's someone with impeccable experience. We are hoping that she will be able to take the work that the previous speaker, Mama Baleka Mbete, had been doing to consolidate the work of the National Assembly and make sure that it becomes a true body that carries the aspirations of millions of South Africans.
You'll know, of course, that one of the major issues that whoever is the Speaker of the National Assembly has to deal with is, well, the caucus belonging to the economic freedom fighters. You'll remember, of course, some of the incidents that happened. Do you think she's the right person to do that?
Well, Comrade Thandi Modise, like I've said, she's an all-rounder. She's equal to the task. In arriving at its own decision, the National Executive Committee was clear on what it wanted the incoming speaker to be able to do. Make sure that South Africans could be able to look at the National Assembly and be proud that these are men and women that we went into the polls to install so that they could be able to drive forward the formulation of laws that will make South Africa a better country.
Well, I mean, you talk about people being proud of the National Assembly. Nomvula Mokonyane is going back to Parliament. She'll be the chair of chairs. In other words, the chair of the chairpeople of the committees. You'll know the claims against her, Pule. She hasn't been formally charged as far as I am aware, but there is evidence on affidavit and under oath of the Zondo Commission about various criminal claims against her. Do you believe she is the right person for that job, despite those claims?
Well, to borrow from yourself, Stephen, you are saying it yourself that she has not been charged. So, but also, again, Comrade Nomvula, you will remember that she's the former Premier of Gauteng Province. She has served that province in various capacities, including as MEC. But not only that, Comrade Nomvula comes from the trade union movement. She was part of the Congress of South African Students. She has got years and years of experience. As recent as now, she occupied the position of both Minister of Water and Sanitation, as well as the position of the Minister of Environmental Affairs in the 5th administration. We hope that, given her own wealth of experience, she's equal to the task and will be able to fulfill the roles and responsibilities that comes with the position of chair of chairs.
So if she is charged, then you would expect her to resign, to step down from that position. I mean, that is ANC policy, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't even want us to hit preemptive strikes at this moment. Where we are is that we are wishing all comrades that we are deploying, including those who have made it to the 6th Parliament from the African National Congress, well. We hope that they carry themselves in a manner that is befitting of the values and ethos of the African National Congress. They become true representatives of the millions of South Africans, over 10 million, who went out in their numbers to affirm this organization of Nelson Mandela.
Fair enough, and no one can take that away from you, Pule. Was there any conversation in the special NEC meeting today about the mayor of eThekwini, Sandile Gumede, who appeared in court and was formally charged last week? Are you expecting her to step down from her position as the Limpopo mayors who are implicated in the VBS report ended up having to resign?
Well, we do have a regional and provincial structure of the ANC out in KwaZulu-Natal. They assist with that matter. The Secretary General did deal with this issue earlier in the morning when he had a doorstep interview with journalists here in the Western Cape, and had indicated that once we have had full appreciation of the facts at play and understand the sort of issues that the leadership in that province and in the region are dealing with, and having applied our mind, will be able to make a determination on what needs to happen. It will be premature when our structures are seized with a matter to move ahead of them.
Pule Mabe, thank you very much indeed. The national spokesperson of the African National